In ancient Rome, there was a general named Coriolanus. He was a brilliant soldier, fearless in battle, and loyal to Rome. After years of fighting for Rome, Coriolanus returned home expecting honor. Instead, political rivals mocked him and questioned his loyalty. Enraged by the humiliation, Coriolanus lashed out at the people of Rome, insulting them publicly. The result was immediate. He was exiled from the very city he had defended. At that moment, Coriolanus had a choice. He could accept the injustice and rebuild his life, or he could let wrath decide his future. He chose wrath. Consumed by rage and a desire for revenge, Coriolanus joined Rome's greatest enemy, the Volscians, and led their army straight toward his own homeland. Town by town, he burned Roman land. He slaughtered Roman soldiers. He nearly destroyed Rome itself, all because of wounded pride and uncontrolled anger. In the end, Coriolanus was stopped, not by force, but by his own mother, who begged him to abandon his revenge. When he finally withdrew, his new allies turned on him and killed him. His wrath cost him his homeland, his honor, and his life. One man's wrath transformed a hero into a traitor and destroyed everything he had ever been. What is wrath? Wrath is not ordinary anger. Anger is a natural human emotion. It alerts us when something is wrong. It can push us to defend ourselves or correct injustice. Wrath is different. Wrath is anger without restraint. It is anger that refuses reason, anger that demands retaliation, anger that convinces us we are justified, no matter the cost. Wrath narrows your thinking. It turns complex situations into simple enemies. It replaces patience with impulse, wisdom with violence, whether physical or emotional. And the most dangerous thing about wrath is that it feels powerful. In the moment, wrath makes us feel strong, righteous, and in control. But in reality, it is the moment when we surrender control entirely. Wrath always escalates. It turns words into threats, threats into actions, and actions into consequences we cannot undo. It damages more than its target. It destroys relationships, careers, families, and reputations. It convinces us that winning the moment matters more than preserving the future. History is filled with examples of wars, massacres, and personal tragedies that began with a single moment of uncontrolled rage. Wrath does not end conflict, it multiplies it. How to control wrath? Wrath, by its nature, is impulsive. Philosophers from Stoicism to Buddhism have emphasized that uncontrolled anger is self-destructive because it disrupts reason and moral judgment. To control it, one must first recognize its source and mechanism. 1. Cultivate awareness of emotion. Wrath begins internally before it is expressed externally. The first step is observing the arising of anger without immediate reaction. Stoics, such as Epictetus, taught that we are disturbed not by events themselves, but our judgments about them. By acknowledging this distinction, one creates a pause between stimulus and response. 2. Examine the true cause. Often, wrath disguises itself as reaction to insult or injury, but it may stem from deeper fears: fear of humiliation, loss, or injustice. Philosophical reflection allows one to identify these roots, reducing the intensity of anger. As Seneca wrote, "Anger, an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured." 3. Reflect on the consequences. Uncontrolled anger rarely resolves conflict. It escalates harm and damages relationships. Thoughtful reflection on the likely consequences of acting in wrath can temper the impulse. This aligns with the Aristotelian concept of practical wisdom, deliberate judgment about what actions are truly virtuous or beneficial. 4. Practice detachment from the ego. Wrath is often intertwined with pride or wounded self-image. Philosophers and spiritual traditions encourage detachment from the self's need to dominate or prove itself. By prioritizing reason over reactive emotion, one can maintain composure even in provocation. 5. Transform anger into constructive action. The energy of wrath need not be wasted. It can be converted into reflection, disciplined effort, or moral action aimed at justice rather than revenge. This is a central principle in both Stoic and Buddhist ethics, transforming destructive impulses into measured, virtuous action. In essence, controlling wrath is less about suppressing emotion and more about cultivating clarity, self-mastery, and deliberate choice. It is a practice in rational reflection, moral foresight, and emotional discipline, which allows the individual to act rightly, even when provoked. Wrath is a force that can consume reason, distort judgment, and shape our actions in ways we later regret. The measure of a person is not found in how easily they are angered, but in how they respond to that anger. By cultivating self-awareness, reflection, and restraint, we turn a destructive impulse into an opportunity for wisdom and moral strength. True mastery is not the absence of anger, but the ability to act thoughtfully, even when provoked. Thank you for listening.